Threnodians, beings born from the lament that represent mankind's hidden fears and turmoil. Their sole purpose in Solaris 3 is to bring about humanity's destruction and nothing more. And for now, we've only ever seen two Threnodians, that being Overthrax, the Threnodian of War, and Leviathan, the Threnodian of Unity. They're both considered some of the biggest threats Rover ever had to face, with them threatening the very region they reside in. But haven't you noticed that they really didn't seem all that threatening to begin with? I mean, sure, Overthrax is the concept of war in Jinsho, but General Genshu Lin was capable of not only beating Overthrax, but gravely injuring it as well.
Issuing his last command, Genshu Lin demanded all soldiers stand firm, no matter what happened. Sacrificing his body to the black flames for power, Genshu Lin charged at the Overthrax with all his might, and he was never seen again.
Now, I won't ignore the fact that it states he sacrificed his body to the black flames for power, but I still find it rather baffling that a non-Sentinel Resonator was able to push Overthrax into a state where they had to resurrect itself. There's also the fact that Rover didn't face Overthrax themselves, but instead fought its creations like Crownless and Dreamless. Even then, Overthrax purposefully left because it knew it couldn't face Rover and Jian because of how weak it currently was. However, the Leviathan was easily more of a threat to Rover compared to Overthrax. The Dark Tide was quite the annoying threat that the Leviathan and the Fraxidus used. As we know, Rover was affected by the Dark Tide. The Dark Tide almost won a couple of times, and both Renacida and Septimont almost got engulfed by the Dark Tide because, well, we almost lost. Let's also not forget that the Leviathan not only merged with the Imperator, but also created an entire body for themselves while being merged. But thanks to characters like Rover, Galbrena, Cardathea, and the entire population of Renacida, the Leviathan was severely weakened to finally be defeated by the 2.x cast. But do you see a trend here? Both times the Threnodians were severely weakened so they can be defeated. Overthrax was because of Genshu Lin, and Leviathan was weakened several times, like being shackled to Cartwheel's body, Cardathea using the prayers of Renacida against it, etc. They're always being kept in check either by their exact opposite or by sheer power. But I know, these threats can't be extremely unfair. At the end of the day, this is a story that has to progress, and the main character has to win. So these Threnodians will always have some sort of power or weakness to keep them in check. But what if there was none of that? What if a Threnodian had nothing holding it back? Well, that's where we're introduced to Lahai Roy's Threnodian, Aleph 1. Well, saying Lahai Roy's Threnodian is incorrect. This Threnodian doesn't originate from Solaris 3, it actually came from outer space. Well, it potentially came from another planet, but there's no official information on Aleph 1's origin, so let's just stick with outer space. Now, what does this mean? This means that global disasters like the Lament, Threnodians, and Resonators don't actually originate from Solaris 3. There seems to be a being or power out there that's capable of bestowing these things onto these planets. The Lament could very well be some sort of infection that's sole purpose is to destroy planets and create Threnodians for a much bigger goal. However, let's put that theory to rest for this video and get back onto topic. So, Aleph 1 actually represents two things in Wuthering Waves. One, Aleph 1 represents the fear of the void itself, hence why it has its own realm called the Void Space and actually looks like a black hole. And two, Aleph 1 represents the true strength of a Threnodian within the Wuthering Waves world. If you remember, back in 3.0, Aleph 1 actually almost won against us before we even stepped foot into Lahai Roy. It's only because of Imid using her overwhelming power, and the power of time travel, she was able to save Rover. But remember, we haven't even seen the true power nor the true body of Aleph 1 to begin with. The current threat that Aleph 1 poses isn't even a fraction of its true destructive capabilities.
Threnodian's presence in Lahai Roy is only a sliver of its true self. It's been trying to break through the seal on the Strider Gate to devour Solaris.
But I know you're wondering why I haven't spoken about the Sentinels not also originating from Solaris 3. I mean, with the Sentinels' help, we should be able to stop Aleph 1 and save Imid. Well, the reason is honestly pretty simple. One, it's because Sentinels aren't organically created, and two, there is no Sentinel to protect Lahairoi people. Sentinels are theorized to have been created by the Hay civilization, which we now know may very well be Rover's civilization. They're the ones who made the Sentinels and the Exostriders with their technology, and used the Exostriders to deliver these Sentinels to Solaris 3 and possibly many other planets. This is why, even after 5 mass global extinction level laments, humankind still remains. Not because of luck, not because of skill, but because of Sentinels, the Black Shores, the Exostriders, and especially Rover. Solaris 3 has been overly gifted with multiple defenses to combat not just against the Lament, but Threnodians as a whole, even having the Savior being sent to Solaris 3 specifically to stop the Lament. And with knowing this, does this mean that there's something special about Solaris 3 that we aren't aware of? But again, let's leave that for another video and get back to the topic at hand. So just think about it. Just think about how overpowered Overthrax and Leviathan would be without these restrictions. There would be no Sentinel Resonator, Sentinel, or Rover to stop the Leviathan engulfing both Renacida and Septimont in the Dark Tide, killing everyone in the process. Their Dark Tide wouldn't just stop at Renacida or Septimont and would spread all over the world, where the Leviathan would reign supreme in its paradise. Overthrax would have still been injured by Genshulin, but with him being influenced by Overthrax's influence, not even the entirety of not just Jinsho, but the entire nation of Guanglong wouldn't be able to stop Overthrax from being resurrected and wiping them all out. The world would be brought into chaos because of these two Threnodians, and, well, Aleph 1 wouldn't be on Solaris since it's only here because it caught wind of the Exostrider heading to Solaris 3. But as for Lahairoi, the Exostrider is the only godlike being that can even contest against Aleph 1. And that's because it was created from the same technology as the Sentinels, and well, it literally has the capabilities of actually fighting. But even then, it almost got beaten if not for Imid boosting the power of the Exostrider to seal away Aleph 1. But again, this directly ropes back into one of the ways to deal with certain Threnodians, being overwhelming power. However, with Imid out of the picture, I'm not sure how Rover is even going to be able to fight, much less beat, one of the strongest Threnodians we've ever faced. No weakness, no restraints, nothing. And even if, by some miracle, we stop Aleph 1, this is only the beginning. Aleph 1 was just the tip of the iceberg. Now that we know Threnodians don't have to originate from Solaris 3, what happens when Rover makes it into space and their frequency gets put out there? How many more threats from outer space are going to get an interest in coming to destroy Solaris 3? I mean, we only got lucky by having Imid and the Exostrider to combat against Aleph 1. We were lucky to have Overthrax weakened when we fought Crownless and Dreamless. And we were lucky to have the Sentinel Imperator, Cardathea, and everyone else to weaken the Leviathan enough to battle them. But do we really think Rover has the capabilities to fight beings like Aleph 1? Rover already almost lost without even stepping foot onto its turf. There's going to be more unstoppable foes that are much worse than Aleph 1. Will Rover always be this lucky and take down the threat without some major sacrifice? Will they be able to fight against demons who were born with no limits? But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. I remember seeing a Twitter post that downplayed Overthrax and Leviathan, so I wanted to make this video talking about how scarily strong these Threnodians are. If I remember correctly, it was something like Overthrax was like country level, Leviathan was like town level, something like that. It was like crazy downplay. And with so many people thinking the exact same way, thinking that they aren't actually that strong, I think this was the perfect time to go on a little yap session about how, these Sentinels could literally just take over and destroy Solaris 3 as a whole with their powers. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My Discord server is live right now, so make sure to check that out whenever you can. And I will see you all in the next Wuthering Waves video. Signing off.
'Cause I've been so tired. I don't wanna fight, but you're a liar. I need your help, cause the situation's dire. I'm so sick of using people to get higher. Yeah, we can take a pill.